the call, I said to you, we kind of dropped in a little bit. We had a little chat, and I was like, I just wanted to feel your heart because I believe that the heart's speaking before we ever enter a room, right? We feel people's hearts from miles away. It's 100 times the magnetic field of the mind. And that power of now, when we drop out of the past and out of the future and we come back into this moment, this breath, this heartbeat, that's where we access this place of deep nourishment, of the ability to tune in to the subtleties of the bliss that is life. And that includes the light and the shadow and the spectrum of color in between. But in that place of composure, we're not in judgment, we're not in lack. It's just isness. And that's so peaceful and so beautiful. So it's so beautiful to be here with you in this powerful now.
Thank you. And the way that you explained that was so elegant because you're right. Like sometimes when we're talking about like cell phones and things like that, where there's a lot of distractions that take you away from the now, and then it takes you everywhere but maybe what's important. So what do you think then is maybe preventing some people to stay into the now, stay into their happiness and stay into their essence?
Well, honestly, I've been working with the superconscious now for over a decade. And what it's taught me is that it's our human that takes us out of the now. It's our, what I call spirit heart, that is that oneness. It's that connection to earth, to spirit, to source, to the greatness. Yeah. But when we're in our human, this is when we believe that we're separate than. And when we believe that we're separate than, we go into the egoic mind, the identity. And the way that I can really describe it, like, do you like metaphors? I do too. I love them, right? They're just so, I'm such a creative. I'm a hyper creative. I love imagery, and especially to tell a story and so that it lands with people, like they get it in their body. So think of your human like you're a dolphin. Yeah. So what does a dolphin do the majority of its life? It's under the water. It's in the unconscious. And when we're in the unconscious, we are not present. We're clanging and banging around with a mind trying to solve a problem with the same consciousness that created the problem, right? We're so just remembering the past. We're in all of our trauma, we're in all of our doubt, all of our fear, all of our lack, all of our beliefs, all of our scarcity, all of our comparison, or we're projecting in anxiety into the future, right? We're unconscious, we're just swimming around in the matrix. Yeah. And all of a sudden, what does a dolphin do? Go, I'm dying. I need to come up for air. And those moments where we swim to the surface and that's our consciousness. That's when we are present. That's when we are calm. Yeah. And we can't be that all the time, or we wouldn't be here on the planet. Right? Literally, if we were in that, we're just going to be air breathers all the time as dolphins, we wouldn't actually be able to be in our natural environment. We'd actually just poof and disappear. We wouldn't be, a tangible physical being anymore. So it's important that we're both, but we need to understand how to work with both and not allow that egoic mind to rule us. So we have to learn how to come back into presence. And this is what I've spent the majority of my life doing. I teach my own medicine. So, I'm my first client. I'm my greatest social experiment.
And your greatest cheerleader too, right? Like that's
I
something
am.
you have to be.
You have
So
to be.
yeah, when you share that, what got you involved in this type of work? Because it sounds so amazing for everyone to experience.
So, I've always been deeply psychic, intuitive, empathic, deeply emotional. And the more that I've learned about my human design and, the gene keys and all of these little elements, because I believe that we are our own greatest adventure, right? People want to explore the outerverse, but they get really scared when it comes to exploring their innerverse. But it's the innerverse which is literally creating your external reality. So you might as well make you your greatest project. And that's what you mean by being your greatest cheerleader. You got to be, right? You got to cheer for the parts of you that are broken and in shame as much as you cheer for the parts of you that are shiny and sparkly and beautiful and brilliant, right? Because it's all of you. It's the yin, the yang, the light, the shadow, the spectrum of color in between. So growing up with all of these, now I understand them as superpowers, but at the time it felt like a curse because I was just feeling everything so deeply. I knew things that other people just didn't know, and it felt so natural to me. I could see auras, I could see all these things and know all these things and hear things and, have access to this empathic part. But it felt like because I didn't have any understanding or awareness of it, it was almost destructive. Like it hurt. It hurt to walk into a room and not know where I started and you ended, and vice versa. I was merging with every other person, place, or thing to the point where I lost myself in that. So for me, understanding the superconscious and learning these modalities and these tools that actually gave me the expression and embodiment of what a healthy, firm, friendly boundary was, so that I could start mastering these superpowers and using them and utilizing them as the gifts that they are, that became the study of my life. And that's what I want to teach to others, because I don't want anyone to go through the darkness and the shit that I've been through when I know that there's a better way. There's an easier way now. And that's actually part of my design. I'm a 1-3. I'm a projector 1-3. I don't know if you know much about human design. It's fascinating. Like, we should do your chart. I only know like enough that I can like, it really helps me work with my clients better, and it helped me understand myself better. But as a projector, we make up 22% of the population, right? The majority of the population, 68%, is like generators and manifesting generators. And they're kind of like the heartbeat of the planet. Whereas projectors are kind of like the guides that come in, and we're not meant to do it all. We're meant to see, we're meant to guide, we're meant to lead, and get other people to say, like, do this, do this. We help you be better, basically. And then we've got reflectors, which make up 2% of the population, which are like, yeah, very special. They work in a very different way to everybody else. But the 1 is the curious explorer, always ready, willing, and able to learn. But the 3 in me is the martyr. And the martyr, it sounds bad. It's like I fall on my sword, but there's also a lot of beauty in that, because when I say I teach my own medicine, I fucking mean it. I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear. I should have asked you. Okay, good. So yeah, the martyr, we all come to a cave, yeah? And I'm standing there with you and I say, you stay here, I'll go first. So I come from the darkness and I know where to go and what not to do because I've done it. I've lived through it. And if I haven't, I've helped hundreds of other people navigate that dark. And when I come back not just from learning from a book or mastering something in a course. I come from lived experience. And that makes my mastery so much greater because, energy doesn't lie. You can't fake embodiment. So that's really been helpful to me.
I will definitely take you up on that offer to learn my chart.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
that's a conversation for another day. But I think you're right when it's like the example where someone walks into, I forget what movie this was, but the person walked into the room and they can see all the sins of everyone in that room, right? And it would bother them because it's like they were absorbing all of that bad or negative energy, like it said. And you made a really good point where there's times where you enter a room and you're like, ooh, what was that? And you get this sense of something, right? Is that similar to what you're sharing?
So there's a couple of things at play here because we've got 4 bodies. We've got a mental body, right? This incredible mind, which is basically just software. And it's not the master, it's definitely the servant. But if you look at the majority of the planet, a lot of people, their mind is leading them. Yeah. Right. So that's one thing. We've got a mental body, we've got a physical body, this beautiful cellular body, and every cell in our body has a memory. We've got its own universe. We've got our spiritual body, if you will, this beautiful energetic body. And then we've got our emotional body. And the emotional body sits about 30 centimeters out from the physical body. That's the empathic part of you that's going to walk into a room and feel, sense, and know, oh, that person's, I feel like some bad juju happening over there. It feels like someone's just had a fight in here, or something bad's just happened, right? So that's the empath. Yeah. And a lot of people can experience doses of empathy where it's like, it's usually based from trauma. Yeah. Living in an environment where you've had to become hyper vigilant of your surroundings. So you've never been able to switch off. You're actually this is what I recognized. Something happened to me when I was like 2.5, 3, and it was very traumatic. It was so traumatic that my entire being shut that shit down. So I didn't realize, but I was like living life from a foundation of very low self-worth and fear-based reality because I'd been abused and used, and so that trauma had created my nervous system to be a blueprint of life isn't safe. So I was so highly attuned with my empathy to know who in the room wasn't feeling good, but then I based my entire reality around, well, my job is to make everyone feel better, because maybe then I'll feel better. If I can make you happy and you happy, and this is what creates this pandemic of people pleasers, perfectionists, proving their worth, performing for love. Yeah. And that was how I spent my early adolescence. The other thing that we're talking about, though, in the same breath, is this incredible psychic intuitive ability. And this is the super conscious stuff. This is what I teach everyone that comes into my space. We awaken these innate gifts that live inside each and every one of us. Now, a lot of us as children, you watch a child play, they have no qualms about being there in their imagination, and they're in a sandpit and it's lava and there's something going on, and they've got imaginary friends, and they're creating a world. That ability to see, feel, hear, sense, and know what isn't present is your psychic intuitive self. Yeah. And we can learn how to tap back into that as adults. So the empath is born from trauma, but it is a gift. Your psychic ability, your intuitive ability is innate to each and every one of us, but so many of us shut that shit down when we're little because it's not safe. We get told we're weird, we're kooky, what are you doing? Come back to reality. And it shuts those gifts down. So this is again when we awaken as that dolphin and we come into this consciousness and we go, there's a world that I didn't even know that was accessible to me when I'm just bobbling around under the surface of the water in the matrix. That is not my true self. This is my true self. Yeah. And how do I bring all of it together to live my most abundant, amazing, magnetic, successful self? Like, that's did that answer the question? Okay, good.
It did, 100%. And then it leads me to this one then. Could that mean that some people who are people pleasers,
Mhm.
who are always pouring into other people's cup, they're doing it because it's a sense of safety, because if they don't do it, the unknown can be scary to them?
That can definitely be a huge part of it. Right? There's many reasons that we give what we don't have. And when you say, like, because that's what happens, right? When we're a people pleaser, and I'm full blown recovering people pleaser, it's still like practicing boundaries was never natural to me because my environment wasn't safe to do that. Right. And I grew up with a privileged environment. Most people would envy. My mum's a psychologist, sex therapist, hypnotherapist, everything a therapist. I grew up in the environment of a plethora of knowledge and knowing. But because of my trauma, none of it that I learned I could implement. It felt like I was cut off at the knees. So people are stuck in these holding patterns based on the belief systems and the conditionings and all of that they have from the age of 0 to 7. This is what creates the foundation of who we be. Very often, like, I'm 44, I know you're in your 30s. So often, though, it's a 0 to 7-year-old running the show, right? Running our life based on outdated belief systems that we created, sometimes in the womb, sometimes they're not even ours. They're genetic imprints that come through the lineage that no longer serve us. Like, I'm the consummate, like, universal apprentice. I will learn from everyone and I'm learning from you now. I'm like, bring it. Like, how can I learn more about this stuff? Because it fascinates me. And this is what I'm on the planet to do, right? Is to just learn as much as I can and just to adventure and be curious, to come back to that childlike wonderment. That breaks the spell of people pleasing. When you understand you cannot give what you do not have, you cannot give what you do not have, and you cannot receive what you are not a vibrational match to. So if I'm giving to you from empty, please like me. Please keep me safe. Please tell me I belong. Please validate my existence. Please tell me I'm worthy. Tell me I'm valuable. Tell me you care. Tell me you love me. I'm outsourcing my power. Now there's nothing left for me. And even in all that giving, the majority of the time, you will not meet me because even if you give it back, I can't receive it because I'm not the vibration of I am valuable, I am worthy, I am already love, I am already abundance. I resource, not outsource now. But it's a practice. People pleasing comes from the part that does want to keep us safe.
That was very well said. And you're right. Like, if you're coming from a place where love me, validate me,
Mm.
show me attention, right? These are things that I look at, like a lot of people's childhood who I work with, it's from their conditional love because as a child, they didn't get it from their parents,
Yeah.
right? I had to get an A+ from my mother, my father to even acknowledge me. I had to remain a virgin
Yeah.
for them to still respect me.
Yeah.
I had to be home by 9 p.m. for them to make sure that they still love me. If I was out too late, they would call me this, they would call me that. If I wore that outfit, if I didn't perform. And then you go into the world as an adult and you're like, oh my God, this is all I know how to function, right? So you find men that will treat you that way, find women that will treat you, you find friends. And to your point, if you're always in need of something that you don't have, and if you're trying to give what you don't have,
Mm.
you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble, right? And you shared that for someone to change, to turn that pain into their power, how can someone then, or what have you seen someone take all of their issues, well, issues, all their trauma,
Mm.
right? How can then they take it and reclaim what is rightfully theirs?
Beautiful question. So this is literally what I do in my programs is teach people how to take what was meant to break them, the greatest trauma, the greatest supposed darkness, the things that they believe are broken or need fixing. There's actually nothing to change or fix, right? We just have to understand that nothing's personal, everything's structural. And when you understand the structure of how to create, you understand that all is worthy and deserving. You're the creator. So you take back your power. So imagine this. Imagine there's a circle, right? The universe loves like simplicity and specificity. So we create a circle and we're going to just define this circle as our victim, as our victim self, our ego, our current reality. Because if we're standing in current reality, we're looking around to prove whatever story we believe about ourselves